Stop wasting money on compost. Build soil with these perennials. Healthy soil is the secret weapon of every thriving garden, yet many gardeners are draining their wallets buying bags of compost every season. What if I told you that you could build deep, living, nutrient-rich soil without spending a single coin on compost? The solution is surprisingly simple. Grow the right perennial plants that feed your soil year after year while you harvest the benefits above ground. These plants not only reduce your workload, they also create a permanent fertility system that no store-bought fertilizer or compost can compete with. Why perennials build better soil? Annuals are demanding. They need fresh fertility every year, and they strip nutrients as quickly as you put them in. Perennials, on the other hand, establish deep root systems that reach nutrients far below the surface, pulling them up into their leaves and stems. When those leaves drop, or when you cut them down and mulch them in place, you're literally mining fertility from the subsoil and returning it to the topsoil where your crops grow. This process, called nutrient cycling, makes perennials a renewable, self-sustaining source of soil fertility. Unlike compost, which requires constant labor and materials, perennials are always working for you 24/7, season after season. Comfrey, well, it's truly the soil powerhouse. Comfrey is perhaps the king of perennial soil builders. Its roots dive down more than 6 feet, pulling up potassium, phosphorus, calcium and trace minerals that many shallow-rooted crops just can't reach. The leaves are like green gold, breaking down fast and feeding the soil with a balanced nutrient profile. The best way to use comfrey is as a chop-and-drop mulch. Once the leaves are fully grown, you cut them down and spread them directly around your plants. Within just a few days, they start to break down, releasing nutrients into the soil right where your crops need them. You can also make a liquid fertilizer with comfrey that rivals any chemical feed out there. To prepare it, fill a bucket with about 2 kilograms of freshly cut comfrey leaves. Add 10 litres of water and let it ferment for 2 to 3 weeks, giving it a stir every now and then. The resulting dark liquid is a potent concentrate. Before using, dilute it at a ratio of 1 part comfrey liquid to 10 parts water. This homemade tonic, well, it's just perfect for feeding vegetables, fruit trees, or really any fast-growing crops. Yarrow the soil healer. Yarrow may look like just another wildflower, but its ability to enrich soil is outstanding. Its roots reach deep into the ground, pulling up phosphorus and micronutrients. Yarrow is also an incredible soil healer because it increases the microbial life around its roots, which in turn boosts nutrient availability. When cut and dropped as mulch, its stems and leaves break down quickly, improving soil texture and feeding beneficial fungi. If you're building a long-term fertility system, a patch of yarrow is like having a natural compost factory at work all year round. Alfalfa the nitrogen lifter. You know, alfalfa isn't just a forage crop for animals. It's a soil restorer every gardener should know about. Its deep roots, well, they don't just break up compacted soil, but they also fix nitrogen from the air into the ground through a pretty amazing relationship with soil bacteria. Nitrogen is the engine of plant growth, and with alfalfa, you never have to buy nitrogen fertilizer again. You can cut it back 2 or 3 times a season and use the leaves and stems as mulch. As they decompose, they release slow, steady nitrogen that supports leafy crops like spinach, kale or maize. This living fertilizer just keeps on giving year after year, and honestly you won't have to do much more than pick up a pair of pruning shears. Rhubarb, now that's what I call the organic matter machine. Rhubarb may be famous for its stalks, but its real value is in soil building. Every year it puts out these massive, broad leaves that are just packed with nutrients. When you cut those leaves and lay them on the soil, they form a thick, weed-suppressing mulch that rots down into rich organic matter. Unlike compost, which, disappears pretty quickly, Rhubarb leaves offer both fertility and protection for the soil surface, keeping it moist and shielding it from erosion. With rhubarb in your garden, you're basically growing a soil amendment factory that comes back stronger every season. Lupins, the underground miners. Lupins are more than just beautiful flowers. They're natural soil enhancers. They form long taproots that dig deep into the ground, breaking up hard pan and compacted layers while bringing up valuable minerals. Even better, they work with root bacteria to fix nitrogen, improving soil fertility over time. When lupins finish flowering, cutting down the stalks and returning them to the soil adds both nitrogen and organic matter. This is a double win. You get stunning flowers that attract pollinators above ground and permanent soil improvement below ground. How perennials beat compost every time. So, the truth about compost is that while it's certainly useful, it's also, well, temporary. You spread it, your crops grow, and then just like that, the fertility is gone, and you're forced to repeat the cycle endlessly. Perennials, on the other hand, they build fertility that actually compounds over time. Their roots improve soil structure, their biomass adds organic matter, and their nutrient cycling makes sure nothing goes to waste. Even better, you don't need to haul heavy bags, turn piles, or buy any additives. You plant them once, and they just keep paying you back for decades. The smart way to use them in your garden, honestly, is simpler than you might think. The best strategy, really, is to integrate these perennials into the edges and borders of your growing beds. A ring of comfrey around your fruit trees, for example, ensures a permanent supply of mulch and liquid feed. A strip of yarrow and lupins along a garden border keeps nutrients flowing into the soil while attracting pollinators. Rhubarb plants at the corners of your beds not only yield edible stalks, but also provide an endless mulch supply. Alfalfa can be grown as a cover patch or between rows, cut back when tall, and dropped as green manure. With this design, you don't sacrifice space for crops. You actually enhance their growth by surrounding them with natural soil builders. You know, this method really does save both money and time. Instead of constantly buying new supplies or spending hours on upkeep, you're letting nature do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Buying compost may feel like the easiest shortcut, but it adds up quickly. Each bag you purchase is a bag you'll need again next season, and the costs never stop. With perennials, you make a one-time investment in plants that multiply over the years. Many of them spread on their own, filling gaps in your garden with free fertility factories. You save money, reduce labour, and end up with richer, healthier soil than you ever could with store-bought compost. Building living soil that lasts generations, well, it's truly one of the most rewarding things you can do for your garden and for those who come after you. You know, gardening is not just about feeding plants. It's about building soil that can feed future generations. When you shift from compost dependency to perennial soil building, you're really creating a permanent system of fertility that doesn't just collapse when your compost pile runs dry. Your soil becomes alive, filled with earthworms, microbes, fungi, and deep-rooted plants that keep nutrients cycling endlessly. This is how traditional farmers sustained fertility before the age of chemical fertilizers. And honestly, it's how modern gardeners can grow abundant harvests while spending less. Well, as we wrap things up, here are some final thoughts for every gardener out there. If you've been pouring money into compost year after year, now is the time to stop. The real secret is not in buying fertility, but in growing it. Comfrey, yarrow, alfalfa, rhubarb and lupins are not just plants, they are soil builders, nutrient miners and fertility engines. By planting them in your garden, you'll have a constant supply of mulch, liquid fertilizer, nitrogen and organic matter without lifting heavy bags or draining your budget. These perennials will transform your soil into a living, breathing system that supports stronger crops, bigger harvests, and healthier ecosystems. So, the next time you think about hauling another load of compost, remember this. The smartest gardeners don't buy fertility, they grow it. Plant these perennials, watch your soil come alive, and never waste money on compost again. And if this guide gave you real value for your garden, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on Growth Hub Central, share this video with fellow growers, and join us in building gardens that thrive naturally for years to come.